Welcome to Crotoni Entertainment. I'm Chris, and this is Formation Friday, this video series that Bree doesn't normally get involved with, because right now she's not writing a lot of army lists or doing a lot of wargaming stuff that I'm not really driving her into. But this is part of the new Crotoni Entertainment lineup. The idea is that every Friday we get together, we write some lists. A lot of them are probably going to be for one-page rules. Not because that's the only game I play, but because that's one of the ones with the easiest to use and best looking army builders on a computer screen. Although that said, Star Wars Legion has a couple good ones too, and we'll probably tinker with those at some point. But right now it's one-page rules, because one of the things we've got going on right now is we are starting a brand new one-page rules gaming group over at one of the local hobby stores. It's myself and a gentleman I've been playing games with for the last couple months. Found some other players in the area who are coming out for the first time to this game store next week, and we are going to start playing some games. So we're going to be talking a lot more about that as we go forward, and there's going to be a lot to come on that sort of stuff. But tonight, I wanted to go ahead and run through a list that's going to allow us to use our one-page rule stuff in a unique way. I've done videos before where I keep saying you don't need to limit yourself to what armies actually are to play one-page rules. We've done a lot of videos about using your Power Rangers for one-page rules. We've talked a lot about custom armies, but you don't even need to do custom stuff all the time. You can go ahead and do existing army books and have a great time. One of the things I want to work with is I have a ton of War Machine models, or Hordes models I should say, from Mark II Hordes Machine by Privateer Press, and I have not played Hordes since Mark II ended. I was not a fan of the Mark III rules. I'm not a huge fan of the Mark IV rules. So I just have all these models that are just sitting here doing nothing. So I've combed through the list of one-page rules, Age of Fantasy armies multiple times, and I've finally found one that I think embodies most of the options that I can have for Legion of Everblight without me having to build a custom army. And I'm surprised by what it is, because if you're not familiar with the Legion of Everblight, the concept is it's a series of dragon spawn led by basically Ogre Jesus and a bunch of corrupted snow elves. So you'd figure, let's look at high elves, let's look at dark elves, let's look at wood elves, because those are going to have elf options, but they don't really have a lot of great things to represent the ogre part of the faction, and their monster selections are limited enough that they don't really accurately reflect what the dragon spawn monsters feel like. So you figure, let's go look at the ogre list, and the ogre list doesn't quite do it justice either. But after a lot of poking around and trying to figure it out and trying not to make two armies ally, I found that actually, believe it or not, Beastmen covers almost everything we need for it. So we're going to go ahead and build a 2,000 point, because that's the full-size game size we've been playing for the last couple months. That point size is going to go down here soon to kind of represent, well, not represent, but help out the players coming in and getting their list ready. And that's just going to be what it is. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and make a list. We're going to change it to, 2,000 points, custom points of Beastmen. We're going to do custom list, custom point size, and we're going to create our list. So we've got all of our options over here. And a lot of this is going to go pretty smoothly because I tinkered with this for a game I had earlier this week. And I just kind of want to show you how it all sort of comes together. So the first thing I did when I did this list is I said to myself, I really want to do Thagrosh, who's kind of like the big bad of the Legion of Everblight. And after a lot of tinkering, I realized I could not get his evolved form, his bigger, beefier form I was going to use to represent a brute boss, which is kind of like the equivalent of a Minotaur boss, but it was just too many points. So what I ended up taking is I ended up taking Thagrosh as a Beast Lord. So we'll add him to our list there, 55 points. We gave him a great weapon, a heavy great weapon, at 3 attacks, AP3 for 10 points here. And we went ahead and gave him Bestial Hatred. It just seemed like a cool rule. Didn't think it would come up that much. It was, Despoiler, which gives him Bestial Hatred. This was just fantastic. Excuse me, apparently I'm yawning when I'm supposed to be doing this. It's not very appropriate of me. So then I decided we needed a couple of backup characters as well. So we decided to go with one of the versions of Lilith, who's kind of an archer mistress here. And she is a wizard. So we took Shaman level 2. And we went ahead and just gave her we gave her Raid Master, so she'd have stealth. And we gave her a bow, so she'd do a little shooting. She's not as accurate as Lilith was in War Machine, being only quality 5, but, it works. We made it work. It worked out fine. We took a second Hunt Master that we ended up, this was going to be originally, because I own all 3 of the original Lilith models. I don't know if she has any new ones now, but 2 of them are on foot archers. I was just going to run 2 Liliths because it doesn't matter. They wouldn't, the person I was playing with wouldn't know the difference. But I decided not to, so I used the Seirin model to represent Lilith. And what I can do here is, since I equipped them the same, I'll just remove that, and I'll just duplicate this one here. And there we go, we got 2 of them. And actually, let's go through here, and you can actually rename in one-page rules here. We'll rename Thagrash here. I think I'm spelling that correctly. Then we had Lilith, who has all of the Y's. Is I think it's Lilith, like that. And then we had, oh, it didn't take her name. Just try you again here. So we got our Lilith, boom. And our Hunt Master, that was going to be Seirin with her throwing knives. And that wasn't quite enough for me. I wanted one more fighty hero, and I actually just finished painting the evolved form of Callus that I picked up at a local hobby store for 50% off retail, because they're trying to clear out their war machine. So I figured, since he has, the 4 dragon spawn legs, he's kind of like half dragon spawn, half elf. We went ahead and gave him as a centaur boss. He was really, really easy because there's no upgrades for this unit. You just take what it is. He's got a boatload of abilities, and we just called that Callus. So after that was done, we look at that, and heroes are not particularly safe in one-page rules. You look at some of their rules, and Lilith and Seirin might have been okay. Their defense is terrible, but they had stealth. Excuse me again. They had stealth, which gives enemies a -1 to hit when shooting them. They're going to stay as far away as possible for the most part because they're just collecting up points. I was mostly using their magic for Surge, which was giving extra bonus movement to my various monsters and whatnot. But we went ahead and said, okay, we're going to need some units for these guys. So we looked at Callus and we said, what would be an appropriate unit? We need something quick. And what's quick here? We got Centaurs, which, okay, it would be a knight boss with a bunch of, the equivalent of knights. Where's the fun in that? But right below that, you see we've got crazed boars. And this was fun. This was a lot of fun. So you have 3 models, 2 attacks each, AP1. They're crazed, so they get, benefits. Really, what is it with the yawning? Fast, impact 2 each, so they get extra attacks when they charge in. We said we're gonna take a unit of them. We're gonna go to Callus, and we are going to join him to the crazed boar. So he's gonna be part of that unit for the whole game. They're gonna run around and just slam into things and just devour things. It's gonna be great. So then we're the same thing. We look at Thagrash. The reason we took a Thagrash because he looks like a giant ogre. So flipping through here, we've got the, not the brute giants there. Where'd they go? There we go, the brutes. We took the brutes here. There was some tinkering on and off. Do I want to give them extra attacks? Do I want to give them more AP? Do I want to give them this Devour ability? I ended up not doing it for points reasons, but took Thagrash and just attached them there. Figured Lilith and Seirin needed somebody, and figured, okay, well, they're just running around with bows, so let's just take these raiders because they're carrying bows. So we create 2 units of them. Throw Seirin on there. Throw on the Raiders. Lilith, 2 Raiders. Did Seirin not take? Nope, Seirin didn't take. 2 Raiders. Boom, done. So we look at our validation. We've got all 4 of our heroes are filled. We've got 4 to 13 of our maximum number of units. We have not violated the 3 copies rule, so we can keep going on here. We've still got a lot of points to play with. So after that was all said and done, one thing I knew that had to go in there was going to be both grotesques, because I think their models are gorgeous. I have the original metal ones, and shredders, because everybody loves shredders. They're just fantastic. So I went ahead and said, let's take harpies. We'll change their names to grotesques. Can't spell tonight. And then we'll go ahead and just take 2 units of them. And these guys are going to be my harassers. They're going to work with the shredders. They're going to swoop in. They're just going to put a lot of trash mobs in a certain area, and just annoy people and basically say, hey, you got to eat my trash. You got to kill them. For the crazed boars, we actually just called this War Beast pack, and we're representing this on the field with just some random war beasts. I've got a Teraf. If you don't know War Machine, you don't know what these are, but I've got a Teraf, I've got a Naga, and I've got a Rake. I just threw them together and called them a unit of just random war beasts, and it was good. The Raiders we called Nis Archers because we used the elf, the Nis, the Snow Elves. We used their models to represent them in the list. So we'll go Nis Archers. And then we've still got a lot of points left to work with here. So let's go find the Shredders. And this is one of my favorite things on the list here. So we decided to make the Hounds into Shredders. We did a combined unit, so there's 10 of them. And then I love this. Vicious. Vicious gives poison in melee. Why? Why is that specified? This unit only has a melee attack. It has no options even for a ranged attack. Why do we need to say poison in melee? It entertains me greatly. We didn't take it. We are going to go ahead and take Bounding Advance, though, because these guys have the fast special rule, and now they have the scout special rule. So they get to set up after everything's deployed, make a 12-inch movement that ignores terrain because they're striders and because scout ignores terrain before the game even starts, and then they have a 16-inch charge range because of their fast. So, I mean, they're reaching out and touching things 28 inches away on turn 1. I'm doing it again with the yawning. They're reaching out. They're 28 inches away. The front of your deployment zones in a standard map are 24 inches away, so if people are placing models up to the front of the line, the shredders are in charge distance. If they're pushing them back to account for the shredders, well, that's a win for me as well, because it's only a 4-turn game, and that gives less time for their units to come in and be a part of anything. So we're okay if that happens. We like it if that happens, even. And then we needed some monsters. And my favorite monsters from War Machine were the Angelius, which is a giant flying snake worm dragon, the Scythian, which is a giant brute dragon with 2 big bony claw things, and the Carnivian is one of my favorites. He's got like big Popeye arms and is a eyeless dragon monster that beats the crap out of you. So we went ahead and took a brute giant to represent the Carnivian, and we figured his big beefy arms, they could easily be a great weapon, and we figured he should have brute charge because he deserves it. Give him impact 6, and we decided he needs a beast tamer, so he gets that crazed rule that'll buff his AP. So we give him that, and he is just crazy expensive now. I don't think we actually left him with that. I think this fell apart on me. We'll figure it out in a couple minutes. But anyway, we got this going on. And then I needed a Scythian, so that to me said another brute giant, because the Scythian and the Carnivian are the same model but with different arm options. So we gave that one impact. We gave that one a beast tamer. We did not give it great weapons. We figured with the two scythe things, the 10 attacks would be better. And we called this one the Scythian and called that a day. And then finally, we looked at the Slimy Beast, and we said we want a Slimy Beast because that'll make a good Angelius. Because it's got fly, it's got it's got the Toxic Maw, it's got the Stomp, and it's got the Tongue Grasp, which the Angelius did have a shooting attack in War Machine, and let's say it's got the fly special rule. And so now we are actually 75 points over where we needed to be. So now we say, okay, well, we can't add any more, so now we got to make some cuts. So we'll go over to the Carnivian here, we'll start there, and we'll say, okay, we're going to take off Beast Tamer. That's going to save us just a ton of points here. Then we got to find 5 points to kill off somewhere. And of course, knowing me, I don't remember where I killed them off from before. I've actually built this list before. I don't remember where I took them off for. That's actually fantastic. I can't remember what I did. But that's not a big deal, because we can always come through and we can shave 5 points over here. We can go to Thagrosh. We could turn his great weapon back into a halberd. We could go to a basic weapon, be 5 points under. But basically, that's basically what we're looking for there. We have 2,000 points that I think represent the War Machine models pretty well. Is it the most competitive list? No, probably not. But I'm not really looking for competitive lists in one-page rules. I look for lists that have an idea I want to execute. And in this case, the idea I wanted to execute was I wanted some big monsters. And I wanted those big monsters to get in as fast as possible, because that was kind of a hallmark of Legion of Everblight. So we've got the 2 wizards that have the surge spell that buffs our speed. We have the 3 big monsters. We have the pack of medium-sized monsters. We have a couple packs of little monsters, and it's just it's purely a melee list. We've got 3 units just to distract. We've got the rest of them charging in fast. 3 of them are very beefy at 12 wounds apiece with defense 3, toughness 3. Going to be a very fun army to play. I have played it once already. It was a lot of fun. Absolutely demolished a Wood Elf army. But it was it was a fun list to play. I think it was fun on both sides. We both seem to be having a good time. And I will try it again in the future. But there we go. There's just a way to take models you have laying around the house and say, how can I fit them into a game without being forced to play a game I don't necessarily want to play. Like, I don't have an interest in playing War Machine right now. But I do want to use my models because they're there, and why wouldn't I want to use them? And there we go. I've had a way to use the models that I haven't been using for years. They've just been sitting on a shelf. They got to play, and I used them in a creative way. We rolled elves and ogres into beastmen, and it worked. grab whatever models you have. Grab whatever toys you have. Grab Lego figures. Pull up armyforge.onepagerules.com. Tinker around with a few things. Download the one-page rules, core rules. Try the game out. If you own any sort of wargaming miniatures, you really owe it to yourself to try it out. It's free. You have literally nothing to lose and literally everything to gain. And if you don't have wargaming armies, if you just have board games with miniatures, or like I said, even Lego minifigs, or even chits, pull out quarters and dimes and nickels, or little pieces of paper, give the game a try. It's a free game. You have absolutely nothing to lose, absolutely so much to gain. And that'll be our first Formation Friday with the Legion of Everblight. Thank you for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe for more content. Hit the bell button for notifications. We will be back on Monday with a Miniatures Monday and rolling into our new 5-day-a-week schedule and seeing how long we can maintain this. So thank you all. Good night.